Join us this Thursday night on UPN for the live 1000th episode of Smackdown. Wait, what do you mean? We're not on Thursdays anymore? Was someone going to tell me at some point? Okay, well, we're still on UPN, right? What do you mean they went out of business? Oh, God. I just want to run my football league. I really do. I mean, I don't care if anyone thinks it's going to fail again. Alright, so we're on, we were on, let me think. We were on UPN. What about the WB? No? It became the CW. What the hell's a CW? It's not Championship Wrestling, I hope. Oh, okay. How about Sci-Fi? They did what? They changed the I's into Y's? They're fired. Okay, well, what night are we? What night are we on? We're on, okay, since we're not on Thursdays, we're on Fridays, right? People watch TV on Fridays. Tuesdays? Who the hell watches TV on Tuesdays? And what channel are we on? Oh, okay. Yeah, we want to mention that. Okay. You ready? Okay. Join us this Tuesday night on the USA Network for the 1000th episode of Smackdown, where we'll see the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the reunion of Evolution. Wait a minute. Okay. You're saying The Rock is not going to be there? He's in Hollywood. You mean Lil Dwayne? He's in Hollywood. Next thing you know, you're going to say that he's a successful movie star. He is? Shit. Should have never taken that bet. Okay, now what about Evolution? Why are they reuniting? Oh, because Dave Bautista had to stick up his ass and wouldn't come to Raw 25. Okay, that makes sense. I get it. I mean, it makes sense, but still, I mean, oh, man. I mean, they weren't even on Smackdown, for God's sakes. I mean, should we just keep going? Okay. Also, scheduled to maybe or maybe not appear, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and the ninth wonder of the world, China. What? Only Rey's gonna be there? Only Rey. Okay, what about Brock? Brock's gonna be there, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. We gave him that ridiculous contract, He's not going to show up until we go to Saudi Arabia, where I put the Universal title back on him again, because that's what I want him to be, as Universal Champion, so, What about all the others? We're maybe on Angle. The others are dead? Was I even there? Oh, I was. Okay. I apologize. Alright, let's wrap this promo up. We apologize to you, the WWE Universe, as this Tuesday's Smackdown will suck. You'll see our current roster, which I don't think is very good. You'll see them compete, and you'll pop for the legends like you did 20 years ago. So join us this Tuesday for Smackdown 1000, live on Fox this Friday. What? I can't say that? They paid me $1 billion. They paid me $1 billion. Kevin, do not make me go over there and whip your ass again. Hello, Hello, everybody, and welcome to That Wrestling Show, the only podcast where all pro wrestling matters. I am your host, Bill, and this week it's a little different. The format's a little different this week. You could tell that I did not introduce Fro. Fro is going to join me a little bit later on in the show as we are going to discuss the pay-per-view from Saturday, the Australian Super Show Down, and we also are going to make our predictions for Sunday's Bound for Glory event, aka the event where, if Impact does a good job, I'm going to start mentioning them. I'm going to start talking about them every week again, and I might even start watching them every week again if this is a good show. Plus, the end of this week's show is entirely dedicated to Smackdown. The 1000th episode of Smackdown is this Tuesday night, and a longtime contributor of the show, a good friend of mine, Ed, is going to join me as we discuss the history of Smackdown, our favorite moments. Plus, we get into a good discussion about the best matches of all time and the best wrestlers to ever be on SmackDown. So, at this point right now, it's just going to be talking about news, going to give some thoughts on different stories going on. And I want to talk about what has become over the last several days the biggest, what seems to be the biggest story going on. And it doesn't even involve wrestlers. It is the whole situation with WWE going to Saudi Arabia. Now, in a few weeks, November 2nd is the Crown Jewel event that's supposed to take place in Saudi Arabia. However, there has been a lot of backlash from the fans because of an incident that took place recently where an American journalist was murdered. And, the fans are like, if you don't get out of there, we're going to boycott the show. There are fans that don't want this show to go down. And it is now getting to the point, folks, where the United States government is getting involved in this. There was an article published by the Independent Journal Review, and a couple of senators made comments about this. Chris Murphy of Connecticut commented that I'd hope that they would be rethinking their relationship with the kingdom, especially with respect to events coming up in the next weeks, like Crown Jewel. Lindsey Graham of South Carolina commented, there should be a pause in WWE's business relationship with Saudi Arabia, while Senator Chris Coons of Delaware stated that WWE should be taking a hard look at its relationship with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I think with the recent developments of what has been going on in Saudi Arabia, it might not be a bad idea for WWE to get out of there. The problem is they have a 10-year contract. I didn't realize it was that long of a contract. They have a 10-year contract with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and from what I have read, if they get out of the contract, there is a possibility that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia can sue WWE. So there's a lot riding on if WWE is going to go to Saudi Arabia or if they're not going to go. There's a lot going on. There's a lot riding with the recent developments. Of course, if they do go, I will say this right now on the record. If they end up going to Saudi Arabia, because of, you guys, because of respect for you guys and the job that Fro and I do, I will review that show. I will cover that show. I will do the show. I mean, I don't like it that the women aren't involved in the show, but, it has to be done. That's all I'm going to say, is it just has to be done. And, that's about as far as I'm going to go. That's all I'm going to really say. Okay, we have talked about the last several weeks. NWA, the 70th anniversary event, going to be coming up on October the 21st, where on that night they will crown a new national heavyweight champion in the form of a one-night tournament where it will be in 3 stages. The first 2 stages will be 4-way elimination matches. The final stage will be the 2 winners competing for the NWA for the National Heavyweight Championship. And earlier this week, they have announced the 4-way elimination matches. So in one match, it will be Willie Mack, Jay Bradley, Mike Perro, and Ricky Starks. In the other match, it will be Sammy Guevara, Colt Cabana, Scorpio Sky, and Sam Shaw. And the 2 winners of those matches will meet later in the night to crown a brand new NWA National Heavyweight Champion. Ring of Honor is going to have a very interesting debut coming up in a few weeks. One of the hottest names in independent wrestling is going to debut for Ring of Honor, as it is Hot Sauce Tracy Williams who will debut as one of the participants for the upcoming Survival of the Fittest tournament. Tracy Williams has competed in the WWN and Evolve Wrestling, and he's going to take a shot here at Ring of Honor. He's a very good wrestler if you guys have never seen him. Very good, technically sound, one of the best technical wrestlers in the world today, and I think this is going to be a tremendous opportunity for Tracy Williams to prove his ability in the ring for Ring of Honor, and I really think it's going to work out really good for him. I hope nothing but the best for Tracy Williams. So, get to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I want to mention this first. Then I'll talk about the big developments that have taken place. Global Force Wrestling, they are doing another travel package for New Japan's biggest show of the year, Wrestle Kingdom, and you guys know it is January the 4th at the Tokyo Dome. Global Force Wrestling put out this press release as of Wednesday, and I will read this to you guys. Wrestling Travel and Global Force Entertainment have partnered to offer fans the experience of a lifetime. Tickets and travel packages to New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 13 on January 4th, 2019 at the Tokyo Dome. And that's just the beginning. Wrestling fans can expect the same for events across the globe, including in the United States, Mexico, Canada, and Japan. Lee McAteer, founder of Wrestling Travel, said, quote, "We're absolutely delighted to team up with Global Force Entertainment and its CEO, Jeff Jarrett, a WWE Hall of Fame member and iconic figure in the world of wrestling. The prospect of working with Global Force Entertainment is incredibly exciting as we strive to deliver unrivaled opportunities for fans to secure tickets and packages for the very best wrestling events throughout the world. Wrestle Kingdom 13 is an event guaranteed to be an incredible spectacle. Wrestle Kingdom is the biggest event of the New Japan calendar and the biggest wrestling show outside the United States. Jarrett appeared at Wrestle Kingdom 9 as part of the Bullet Club. Jeff Jarrett said, quote, "The magnitude and scope of this event is something every fan should experience for themselves. From the pageantry to the entrances to the hospitality to the reverence Japanese fans have for professional wrestling, there absolutely is no event like Wrestle Kingdom. The partnership with Global Force Entertainment is the latest of a spate of success stories for wrestling travel, with the company emerging as one of the main attractions and the headline sponsor at Wrestling MediaCon 2018 in Manchester, England, shortly after being confirmed as a key sponsor for StarCast, the sold-out 4-day podcast convention that sprang up around the independent wrestling show All In. Jarrett's connections are sure to bring more huge events under the Wrestling Travel umbrella. Jarrett was in the co-main event at Triple Mania in August in Mexico City. As soon as more information comes out, I will let you all know about where you can sign up for these travel packages for Wrestle Kingdom. That's going to be a really fun event if you go to it. Like I said, I do want to stay with New Japan because Monday they had a big show, King of Pro Wrestling. A lot of developments happened. The biggest development is that we now have the main event of Wrestle Kingdom 13. Kenny Omega successfully defended the IWGP Heavyweight title against Cody and Kota Ibushi. And Hiroshi Tanahashi successfully defended his contract for the right to defend or to challenge for the IWGP Heavyweight title. So it is now official, ladies and gentlemen. On Friday, January the 4th, 2019, Kenny Omega will defend the IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi. That is officially the main event for Wrestle Kingdom 13. I'm going to give you guys my early thoughts on this match right now. There's a reason why Tanahashi won the tournament, won the G1. He's one of the all-time greats, and he has been in so many main events over the years, and I really think this is going to be a big challenge for Kenny Omega. But when it comes to to Wrestle Kingdom and when it comes to the Tokyo Dome, there is no better performer than Hiroshi Tanahashi. I'm going to go with Hiroshi Tanahashi as of this moment to become the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He will win that belt for the 8th time on January the 4th. That's just my prediction. We had a debut on Monday. A new member of Los Ingobernables was announced, and a very good surprise as it was Shingo Takagi, who formerly competed in Dragon Gate, is now in New Japan Pro Wrestling and has joined Los Ingobernables. Very good pickup by New Japan. Very good talent is Shingo. He's been around for over a decade. One of the more underrated wrestlers, I believe, in the world of wrestling. So he is right now in the junior heavyweight division. So he's going to be teaming in the upcoming junior tag tournament with Bushi. They're gonna team up together in that tournament, and they're gonna be facing some stiff competition. And I'll tell you guys the other teams that are going to be in this tournament. You have Jushin Thunder Liger and Tiger Mask, Kushida and Chris Sabin. That's going to be a very good tag team. ACH and Ryosuke Taguchi, Volador Jr. and Soberano Jr., Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo, the last year's winners of the tournament, Taiji Ishimori and Robbie Eagles, and the current junior tag champs Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado. So that's going to be a very interesting tournament. And that tournament actually begins this coming Tuesday. Or the tour does, I should say. And speaking of, mentioned Bullet Club with Taiji Ichimori. Big surprise coming out of that with the announcement of Jay White, Jado, and Gato joining Bullet Club OG. Was a very big surprise to a lot of people. I did not see that one coming. Honestly, I thought for certain that, and I'm getting something real quick, I thought for certain that White and Gato were going to form their own faction. I honestly thought they were. But they end up joining the OG Bullet Club. So, going to be a very interesting situation here. Let's see how that rolls for a while. I want to send our get well wishes to Kevin Owens. You guys saw on Monday night that he got beat up pretty badly by Bobby Lashley in a rare double turn. He is having knee surgery, and he's going to be out for about 4 months, so it's going to be very close to see if he is able to compete WrestleMania weekend this year. Women of Wrestling. Talked about them in the past, how they are going to be on television, and we do have an official date for their premiere of the show. It is going to be Friday, January the 18th. That is going to be the official day that Women of Wrestling debuts on Access TV. And I would imagine, and this is just a guess, that it will probably follow New Japan. Like, it's going to be New Japan at 8, and then probably Women of Wrestling on at 9. So that's just an honest guess, and we'll see what happens from there. Alright, this week was another very good episode of the Mae Young Classic. The final matches of the second round took place, and really good matches. Io Shirai and Zeus was a good match. I liked Zeus as a heel. I think I do think that she could be something if they keep her, if they can develop her. I'm not really sure how it's going to go, but I think it is going to be going. I think it's going to be good. I really hope, and I want to give her a chance, so we'll see what happens there. Io Shirai got the victory there. Deonna Purrazzo against Xia Li. This was a good match. Two young wrestlers who, whose experience combined is not even 10 years. I liked how this match went. Purrazzo getting the win with a double armbar submission. You have to see it. Very good match. Nicole Matthews and Tegan Nox. This was an interesting match. You can tell that the people are behind Tegan Nox. They think, that the fans think, and I think even the company, I think WWE believes that Tegan Nox is going to be something special. She defeats Nicole Matthews. I got to consider that a bit of an upset for her to advance into the tournament. And the final match, and I got to say, second week in a row, the best match of the show was the final match. Mia Yim and Caitlyn. Caitlyn, my gosh, she has improved. She's been away from the ring for about 4 years. Looks good in the ring. She's getting better. I'm wondering if she is considering staying, in wrestling. I think she should. Mia Yim got the win, and she advances to the quarterfinals. Now, next week is the quarterfinals of the tournament, and I'm going to go through these matches, and I'm going to tell you guys from here who I think's going to win, because like I said, I have not looked at the spoilers. These shows were taped a while back. I have not watched, or I have not looked up spoilers. I don't know what's going to happen. So, if you're one of those who did not look at spoilers, I'm on the boat with you guys. So, gonna take a look at this. Meiko Satomura against Lacey Lane. Wow, this is a big opportunity for Lacey Lane. Oh my goodness. This is such a tremendous opportunity for her to compete against the veteran of this tournament. That's what Satomura is the veteran of the entire tournament. And I gotta go with Satomura. I think Satomura is going to advance into the semifinals of the tournament. And then the bottom half is Toni Storm against Mia Yim. That's the hardest one to pick. That is the hardest match to pick of the entire quarterfinal round. Because either one of those two can win and could be right there. Could be right there at the end. Because this is my honest opinion. Whoever wins the Toni Storm Mia Yim match, in my opinion, is going to go to the finals. They're going to go to the finals. They're going to win the semifinal match. They're going to be in the finals. I'm going to go Mia Yim on this one. I'm going to go Mia Yim. Toni Storm got to the semifinals the year before, came up short. I'm going to say Mia Yim goes to the semifinals. The other side of the bracket, Tegan Nox against Rhea Ripley. It would be an amazing story if Tegan Nox were to make it to the Final Four. I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be Rhea Ripley who advances to the semifinals. Her new attitude has made wonders for her. So I'm going to say Rhea Ripley goes to the semifinals. And the final match, Io Shirai against Deonna Purrazzo. Wow, this is going to be an interesting match. All four of these matches are going to be interesting in their own unique way. But Shirai is the favorite. She's been the favorite since she was announced for the tournament. I'm not going off on the bandwagon. I think Io Shirai is going to advance into the tournament. So I have as my final four, Meiko Satomura, Mia Yim, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai. That's going to be my final four. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. By this time next week, we'll see if all four of my picks came true or if I got one or two wrong. It's going to be very interesting to see. And, of course, the finals of the Mae Young Classic takes place at Evolution on October the 28th. So that's going to be it for the news. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go, or you guys are going to go, and I'm going to talk to Fro, and we are going to discuss the Australian pay-per-view, the Super Showdown event, give our thoughts on that, and then we're going to give you our picks, our Bound for Glory preview picks, and then a little later on, it's going to be all about Smackdown. So I'll talk to you guys in about a second or two. All right, everyone. Fro is here with me. Hello, Fro.
Hi, me.
And now he's a little tired, but we had to talk about a little bit being the understatement of the year. Excuse me.
Yes.
We had to talk about the Australian show that took place on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and the pay-per-view that's coming up this Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it. And I know that you saw the entire pay-per-view when it happened.
Yes.
I did not see it when it originally aired, so I waited till Sunday. Fro, it took me 4 days to watch this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I understand why.
It is not a good thing.
No. We talked briefly on another Digital Citizen about it because the thing is that me and Luke, we bet over wrestling result every month. Once a month we do that. And we decided to quit doing that because I'm not watching the product. This is probably going to be my last pay-per-view
Well, Evolution.
in other than Evolution. But I don't really need to watch the product to watch Evolution, because it's kind of out of the product, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
But it is kind of sad that we and Luke's talked about it as well, that he's also fed up with watching WWE at the moment. And I watched. I usually don't do this, but I watched a YouTube channel called Let's Wrestle or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrestling or something like that, and they talked about there being problems with the crown jewel.
Oh yeah, there's huge problems.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that real quick?
Sure.
Basically, what is going on is earlier this week, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia basically ordered the execution of an American journalist.
Yep.
And now, because of this, fans at first have started to protest, saying, don't go, do not go. And now there is the possibility that the United States government could get involved in this.
Yeah, it's pretty up in the air right at the moment if there will be a show.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because I just got this over the phone. So I just want to mention this. I just got this over the phone.
Okay.
WWE is working. Okay, this is what the Wrestling Observer Live radio show has said.
Okay.
The working idea backstage in WWE, if they have to cancel the event, is to take all of the matches except for the World Cup tournament and simply move them to the Survivor Series.
Okay.
So that would mean that the three big matches, which are the WWE title match, the Universal title triple threat match, and the AARP tag team match, would all take place at Survivor Series, not Crown Jewel.
Oh.
So, yeah, and something that I read real quick, and then we're going to get into the Australia show. The deal that they had with Saudi Arabia, it's a 10-year deal.
Yeah.
And if they get out of the contract, the whole country could sue them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, this is it's an awful situation for the WWE. Yeah. But back to what we were talking about. The point being, like, it is sad when this is the best that you can, like, give us. Like, if this is the best that we talked a little about it because we were recording something else, and you asked me how it was, and I said it was a great big yawn.
Yeah.
And I also watched it after that, because there was I missed one match. I missed the best match. I missed the opening match. But and other than that, it is a terribly boring and uninteresting pay-per-view with absolutely no
ramifications.
Yeah, no ramifications, no life in it.
Right.
It's a really dead pay-per-view, and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by it. I am.
And here's the thing, because it's not the talent's fault. Let's say
no.
It is not the talent's fault. The talent goes out, does their job. It's just the booking is so bad. It's so lame. And basically what they've put themselves into, I've said this phrase before and I'll say it again, they're going for quantity over quality.
Yeah.
When it should be quality over quantity. That's their biggest mistake.
Yeah, and I'm just so incredibly disappointed.
Yeah, but at least between you and I, at least one of us could take a break because the other one is going to do the work. So I don't mind being the one that does the work.
No, and I'm going to watch the women's one, and then I will probably take a good break too. I will presumably watch the next pay-per-view. Maybe I don't know, Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think you can skip the December show.
Yeah,
I think you could skip the December show. But...
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this show.
Anyway,
opening match, Smackdown Tag Team Titles. The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus challenging the New Day, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods. This was a really good match to start the show.
Yeah. That's what I said. It is the best. It is the best match of the night, if you ask me.
All right. A lot of near falls in this match. Just a good tag. Basically, you had a good tag match of big guys and smaller guys. And in the end, the New Day were able to get the victory to keep the tag team titles. Although, I believe if I read right, they might face each other again in Saudi Arabia, depending on what happens there. So, I don't know. I gave this a B-.
I gave this actually a B+.
All right. Meltzer gave this 3 stars, and CBS Sports, the only one of the 2 sports sites who actually reviewed the show because ESPN didn't do shit.
I wonder why.
They gave this a B- as well. Next match was the SmackDown Women's title. Becky Lynch defending against Charlotte Flair. Fro, I'll let you start.
It goes down from here. Those 2 can wrestle, and they can wrestle each other. What the fuck was wrong with this? I don't understand. It felt like nobody showed up in this match. It felt I don't know what didn't work, but it didn't work. I have absolutely no clue why it didn't, and I'm a little confused by this match. I'm going to be completely honest because I like them both. I
thought this was a good match.
Oh, okay.
I thought the ending was a bit weird. I mean,
the ending is so weird.
I mean, because it's like, okay, I knew Becky had to find a way to get out of, to stay the champion, but the way it was done,
right,
was not that good. I didn't think it was that original.
To say it mildly.
But the beatdown after by Becky was good.
Yeah.
So, I originally had it as a C+, but I bumped it just a wee bit to a B-.
This was a C+.
All right. Meltzer gave this 3 stars. CBS Sports gave it a B. Then we had, oh my God, this. I'm just going to say it right now. This was the worst match of the show.
Oh, definitely.
Elias and Kevin Owens. I hate saying that when 2 really good wrestlers are, against Bobby Lashley and John Cena.
I think it's funny when I was watching this with my good friend Grass Dragon from Australia,
right.
and we used this whole match talking about how much John Cena looks weird with that haircut.
Oh my gosh.
He looks just like JBL.
There were some people calling him JBL on Twitter.
He looks just like JBL. It isn't really funny, but it is funny.
So, let me give you guys the short version of the match. Lashley gets worked on the entire match. Hot tag to Cena. Cena pins Elias with his 6th move of doom, which was a back punch.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, no, it's a Super Cena show, and it's a shit ending to what was not Kevin Owens and Elias' fault at all.
No.
At all. They at least showed up. John Cena and that fucking monkey of a man.
Oh my god.
I fucking hate him.
Well, now I will say this. Lashley turned heel Monday night.
And I didn't mean that in a racist way.
Right,
by the way.
I knew. No, Lashley turned heel on Monday night.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Yeah, we're going to see how that goes. I gave this a C minus.
Oh, I gave this a D minus.
Meltzer gave this 1 3/4 star. CBS Sports gave it a D.
Yeah.
Next match was Australia versus the World, match number 1, as the Iconics took on Asuka and Naomi.
This was surprisingly bad as well. I thought. Sorry?
No, I was gonna say for the time that they were given, I didn't think it was nearly that bad.
Not for the time that they were given, but they were given in the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Iconics got the win after pinning Naomi. I gave this a C plus, and I think I gave it a C plus only because that last match was so bad.
I gave it a D plus.
Okay. Meltzer gave this 1 1/4 star. CBS Sports gave it a D plus.
Okay.
Then we go to the WWE title match. Samoa Joe against AJ Styles. Now let's remind everyone, Fro. This was a no disqualification, no count-out match.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this match.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the first match, this would be the match of the night, if you ask me.
All right. And you know, go ahead.
And it worked.
Mm-hmm.
I am really surprised by the ending, though.
Mm-hmm.
The ending takes it down maybe 2 points for me. But other than that, I thought it was a good back and forward, good storytelling about the foot and everything. But the ending was kind of anticlimactic.
It sort of was, but I liked how the match went. Because they started out, they met not halfway, but they met outside the ring to start the match. The weapons really didn't come into play until about 15 minutes into the match, which is a good sign because when you have a no disqualification kind of match, you know, you don't want to use too much plunder, too many weapons, you know, because you're going to ruin the vibe of the match. You know, so hopefully not another match on this show will do that later on, but you know, but no, this was a good match. I actually think
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. No, I actually think this was a good way to end this feud. I do. I gave
Has
it
it ended though?
I think it has. I really do. I gave this an A minus.
Oh, it was a B plus.
Okay, so we're not too far off.
Yeah.
Meltzer gave it 4.25 stars, and
Mm-hmm.
CBS Sports gave it an A.
Was this the match of the night for you?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Although there's another match that is like second, and it had a legit shot to be match of the night.
Okay.
I think I have like your match of the night. I think I had that fourth as like my fourth
Oh.
favorite match. So it's
I just loved the pacing of it. And New Day was so good in it.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved it. Yeah.
Next match was the 6-woman tag match. Riot
Ooh.
Squad against the Bella Twins and Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, let's talk about the next match after this, because this was... You said that your least favorite match was another. This is maybe my least favorite match.
It's like...
It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Ronda, but how they're booking her, and especially what's going on with her match on the women's pay-per-view,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so freaking disappointed in how they are using her. Again, it's nothing about the wrestler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It isn't the wrestler's fault. It is the WWE, and this is the prime example of this, because this did not work.
Well, here's the thing, Fro.
Mm.
Ronda Rousey, this whole year, has been one of the hottest commodities in the world of professional wrestling, hands down. I don't care what superstar Billy Graham says, but
Right.
you have her teamed up with the Bellas, and the Bellas are such attention whores, especially Nikki, that the most of this match is, oh, Nikki and Brie.
Yeah.
When's Ronda gonna get in? And then when she does get in, it's the Ronda Rousey show, and she dominates the rest of the match.
Right.
And let's give props to Riot Squad, and in particular Liv Morgan, who not even 2 weeks ago had a concussion and was medically cleared, and she looked fine in the match.
Yep.
I did like the ending with the double armbar submission. I thought that looked good.
I didn't.
Really? Okay. I gave this a B minus.
Oh, I gave this C minus.
Okay. Meltzer gave this 2.5 stars. CBS Sports gave it a B minus. Then we had actually our last title match, the Cruiserweight title match. Cedric Alexander defending against Buddy Murphy. Excuse me. This was a really good match. This match, if it hadn't been for the WWE title match, would have been the best match of the show.
My problem with this is that I didn't care. And that isn't, again, it's not really the wrestler's fault, but the booking here was kind of fun.
They pulled out a lot of good stuff in this match.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The fans were really into this match. Buddy Murphy is a Melbourne guy, born in Melbourne.
But the problem is that 205 isn't really on the roster, so I did not care.
And then also, now that they've moved to Wednesday nights,
right?
Will people remember that they're on Wednesdays? That's
no clue. But it's kind of double because NXT that I still watch and still think is the best thing ever. That is so good that I'm always so like maybe I should watch 205, but I it's just too much wrestling.
Yeah. Buddy Murphy would win the Cruiserweight title in a really good match. Well deserved. He's really improved this year. Buddy Murphy has. I gave this a B.
I gave this C+.
All right. Meltzer gave this 4.25 star.
Wow.
And CBS Sports gave this an A.
Oh.
Then we had a 6-man tag team match. Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler against the Shield. Shield come out through the audience, which I liked.
Yeah, in their Bane masks.
Yeah, which was really cool.
Yeah. That was the coolest thing about this match because what is it with this freaking booking?
Yeah. And I thought the match told a good story, especially once Dean got hit accidentally by Roman Reigns, because they had the tease. The tease was right there.
Yeah.
And they didn't go for it, which I'm glad they didn't, because
I'm happy as well.
To all respect to the fine people of Australia, that turn did not need to happen in Australia. With all due respect.
Has he turned heel on?
No, he didn't, but he got beat in the rematch Monday night.
Okay.
And after the match, he left the Shield in the ring. Like, they were going to come over and comfort him. He just went out. He just left, went up the ramp.
Good.
So, I gave this match a B.
I gave this a C+. I gave a lot of matches C+.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I gave 5 matches a B or lower. Like B or B minus. That's how the show was. Meltzer gave this 3.75 stars. CBS Sports gave it a B minus. Next match was sort of an anticipated match. Daniel Bryan against The Miz. The winner would be the number 1 contender to the WWE title. Shortest match of the show.
Yeah. What was this?
What I read was because they were running a little over on time, this match had to be cut down. Especially for that big entrances and, the main event, so...
the main event.
So the match basically is Miz is dominating. He dominates the match. And then he goes for the skull-crushing finale. Daniel Bryan gets a small package, and he gets a 3 count, and the audience has no reaction.
Yeah.
And it's not until the music plays that they're like, oh, crap, he won!
Yeah. Yeah, no, this did not work.
I gave this I only gave it a C+ because of what they did for the 2+ minutes they got.
I gave this a D.
All right, Meltzer gave this 1 star.
Yeah, I can understand why.
And CBS Sports gave it a D+. And then the main event.
Well, no, not really.
I know. Undertaker versus Triple H. The last time ever, supposedly.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels in the corner of Triple H. Kane in the corner of the
I
Undertaker.
totally believe them.
And, by the way, Fro, did you know that this match is now a no disqualification match? Jeez.
Why?
Oh,
so angry. I was so this much. Okay.
Really, guys? Like,
yeah, I know.
Really?
Yep.
So we have this match in quotes, and it's Shawn Michaels kind of sort of interfering a lot, but not really.
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Like all the time, you mean?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Then they're outside on the floor. Then they go into the crowd. And I actually want to bring this story up because I want to see if you noticed this. During the match, did you see what chairs they had out in the very expensive rows down on the floor?
No.
They had white plastic chairs. The kind of chairs that you use on your deck. But there is a reason. There is a legit good reason for this.
Okay.
Because those chairs, those souvenir chairs that that they make for all the shows, the shipment was delayed because of the weather events that took place in, I think it was like Indonesia or the Philippines, wherever they made the chairs. And they posted a note on the plastic chairs saying, "We apologize for, so and so because of the, natural disaster. Your chairs will be coming in the mail."
Okay.
My only question is, did any of the people take the white plastic chairs home
with them?
That's what I want to know.
I was promised a share. I'm taking this one.
Oh gosh. So, but yeah, this is just fight.
This was a boring main event.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. And hey, Fro, guess what happened during the match?
What?
We had a referee bump.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, what a surprise.
And it was Mike Chioda, who's about as old as all four of these guys.
I was so surprised. I did not see that coming at all. It's not like I said during the match, I will bet $50 that there will be a ref bump or something. No.
I've been a rich man, I think. So the end of the match, Shawn Michaels comes in, super kicks Undertaker. Triple H hits the pedigree. Referee gets up. 1, 2, 3. Triple H beats the Undertaker to get the long-awaited win, and he starts to cry. And then after the match, all four of them, they get together, they hold hands, the fireworks go off. And then Undertaker and Kane attack Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
It's almost like they're setting up for something.
And Fro, I had to rewind the ending of this. Because remember how last week when we reviewed Death Before Dishonor and one of the announcers went like a second or two ahead of the reveal?
Right.
Michael Cole went about a half second before like the turn, because like Undertaker looks at Kane and all Undertaker does is he starts to make a move and Michael Cole's like, "Oh my God!" Like, really? Oh man. I gave this a C.
I gave this a D+.
Meltzer gave this 1.25 star. CBS Sports gave this a B+.
Wow.
They're being very generous.
Yes.
So I didn't even do best match and worst match. I only did what you guys thought of the show in general. It is a very close vote between a C grade and a B grade.
Okay.
What would you give it?
Oh, a C.
I'm gonna give this a very low B. Very low B.
I gave all the matches the D plus almost.
Right. There was only one comment in the votes from Steve Miller, who said they should have given Styles and Joe the main event. Undertaker is slowly turning into what Flair became.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I sadly agree.
Yeah, sadly, I gotta agree. However, there is a pay-per-view this Sunday night.
Yeah.
That
I'm going to bet $50 it will be better than this pay-per-view that we talked about.
Well, this is the big one, Fro. This is the one that's going to decide if Impact Wrestling comes back into the rotation or not.
I mean, I am. I told you that I am enjoying this tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Oh, I believe you. So I have the card in front of me. Tickets are sold out, by the way, for this show.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get a hot New York crowd Sunday night.
Yes.
So
and I'm so extremely happy that it's sold out.
So I'm gonna go over the matches, and we're gonna make our predictions.
Mm-hmm.
And we start off with a tag team match: Matt Sydal and Ethan Page against Rich Swann and a mystery partner.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rich Swann and the mystery partner.
Would you like to venture a guess who the mystery partner could be?
No, but I think, but that, no, he says, and then he says, but I think it will be someone they gotten from WWE.
Okay, that's a good bet.
Yeah, I mean it will be a surprise. I don't think it will be someone they already have in the roster.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Rich Swann and the mystery partner.
Yeah.
And I don't know who the mystery partner is gonna be.
I mean, it could be a lot of people.
It could be many people.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's somebody from 205 that has gone out of WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, Rich Swann is doing a really good job there.
Well, he's gotten himself together, mentally and physically. So.
Yeah.
Then we have the Knockouts title being defended. Tessa Blanchard defending against Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tessa. I don't think Taya is ready just yet. I like her. I really do. She's really good. But I just Tessa Blanchard is amazing.
Didn't Tessa just recently win the title, the Knockouts title?
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah, then I'm gonna go with Tessa.
Yeah.
I think
it was last pay-per-view. I'm not sure.
I think eventually Taya will win that title, but it's not going to be here. Not on Sunday. Then we have an interesting match. Eddie Edwards against Moose.
Yeah.
How is Moose as a heel? I'm curious.
He's good. I'm going to go with Moose.
All right, then, for the sake of being different, I'm going to go Eddie Edwards.
Right.
Although I think this could be an interesting match. I really do.
Yeah, I'm really looking for... there's no matches that I'm like...
Yeah, from the card that I have seen, it looks good.
Yeah, and I'm interested in every match.
Well, this next match should be really interesting.
Yes.
Phoenix Pentagon Jr. and Brian Cage against Sami Callihan and OVE.
Yeah.
This is going to be a battle.
It is. I think this is maybe the worst one to predict.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I completely forgot to mention it. It is under OVE rules. Anything goes.
right. The heels or the faces?
Yeah.
I guess I will go with the faces.
Well, I mean, the last time I watched Impact was Slammiversary.
Right.
And Pentagon and Callihan had that
One.
incredible match.
Yeah.
Which honestly would be in my top 10 for match of the year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Sami and OVE on this one.
Okay.
Then we have a concrete jungle death match.
I love
that is a pretty original name. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I love the name of it. It's going to be interesting to see how it works.
Yeah, as it'll be LAX against the OGs.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the OGs.
Yeah, and the titles aren't on the line, so
no.
I'm gonna go OGs on this one.
That's why I'm going with it. If it was for the title, I would probably not go with OGs, but
although the interesting thing's going to be how does Conan perform in the ring?
Yes,
because he's not in the best shape health-wise.
No.
And then the main event for Bound for Glory for the Impact World Championship. Austin Aries defends the title against Johnny Impact.
Yeah, I think this is maybe the easiest match to predict. I'm going to go with Johnny Impact. And I think TNA is clever enough to understand how to use Survivor for what it is. And I think putting the title on him right now, as he is a hot commodity,
right,
is extremely smart. And to be honest, he doesn't have anything to lose on it.
Well, right now he is still on the show.
Right.
It was who got eliminated this week? I just had it. Jeremy got eliminated this week. So, yeah, we will see how it goes.
But what do you think?
You know what? I like your idea of them putting the title on Johnny, but I think Austin Aries has been such a hot champion. I gotta go with Austin Aries on this one.
Okay.
But I am looking forward to the show. And like I said, this is it for you guys, Impact. This is going to determine if, I continue to watch your pay-per-views, if I'm going to continue, if you guys are going to get tweeted again. That's a big thing. So there's a lot riding on this show, guys. Don't blow it. That's all I'm going to say. Don't blow it. Fro, what would you like to plug real quick?
What about Another Digital Citizen?
What about them?
Yeah, I heard they are a show. I heard they talked about the sect that where people read foot instead of hands. Yeah.
Interesting.
Also, we talk about the Swedish princess finding a sword in the lake, and she wasn't really the Swedish princess, but yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I want to mention that this week, special episode of Shark's Pond, Fro and I, we review Team America World Police. So,
America.
Yeah. So you guys want to check that out. Plus, we did talk about the latest episode on South Park, The Problem with Apu. So we did talk about that.
Spoiler alert, it was really good.
It was. It really was. Of course, the usual quick plugs. Follow the show on Twitter at Wrestling Show 11. Join our Facebook group, That Wrestling Show Fan Group. Type that in the search bar in Facebook, and you're right there. And if you can't find it, it's okay. Click on the link in the description box, and you're good to go. And visit my Patreon page, patreon.com/Bill's World of Podcasts. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to transition Fro out, and we're going to bring in another guest because we are dedicating the rest of this episode to Smackdown 1000. So you'll hear me in a few seconds, and we'll hear Fro next week. So bye.
Aye. Wrestle on.
All right, and we are now going to be spending the rest of this week's show talking about SmackDown. And joining me for the first time in, gosh, I have no idea how long it's
like
been.
2-3 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Is Ed. Some of you might have seen him at the Tribute to the Legends convention in April back for MCW.
Of course.
So, how have you been?
I've been fine. I'm just hanging there. I've been I've been also doing a podcast. It's called the Genocide Cutter Cast. Lately we've been having some audio issues, so hopefully the next recording will be a lot better. So feel free to check my page on Facebook, and once everything is settled with all the audio issues, then we'll be back.
All right. So we are going to talk about SmackDown and, well, basically, not the entire history, because that's going to take a long time, but...
Yeah, it'll take, the whole, maybe, 24 hours.
It would. But it has reached a milestone, or it's going to reach a milestone.
1,000.
The 1,000th, the 1,000th episode is this coming Tuesday night. But before we get to that, I think we should mention first the special that aired back in April before it became a weekly TV show, because they had a special on UPN called Smackdown, and it aired on April the 29th, 1999, and I have the results in front of me. So, depending on where you want to be on the side of the fence, you could say that was the first episode, or you could say that it was just the special. So, here are the results from that episode, the special. The Blue Blazer defeated Val Venus. The Big Show beat Test. D'Lo Brown beat Droz by disqualification. Kane and X-Pac defeated the New Age Outlaws. Ken Shamrock defeated Bradshaw in a street fight. Mankind defeated the Big Boss Man. And in your main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock fought The Undertaker and Triple H to a no contest.
Oh wow! I didn't even follow SmackDown during that time. But I've been hearing conversations about it when I was in high school until after my senior year in high school, I decided to catch on wrestling. I found it more interesting. So I missed a lot in the 90s, and I should have followed it, but I was just me not being a TV watcher back then, or don't have cable.
Right.
So I missed out on the good stuff in the Attitude Era. So So, like, I've been hearing a lot of interesting stuff. I've been hearing, like, conversations in the lunchroom, everywhere, and I'm like, I don't know, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. But then I found it interesting later on. I followed it more. I found it more interesting. I think it was like when I heard about Kurt Angle wrestling, when I saw, an Olympic gold medalist wrestling. Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't mind watching it, and I just like watched like an hour or two of that, and then I got into it more and more, and then I just like watched a few clips of it back in the past, and then later I started watching the whole show, try to get home in time just to watch it.
Yeah.
So I think the first time I catch Smackdown, like watching it like full time, I think it was like, I don't know if it was like over the summer. It might be it was like the first time watching it, it was I think there was like I remember it was like the love triangle with Stephanie McMahon,
Triple H and Kurt.
Yeah, I remember that. That was one of the moments I remember. I think and then Chris Benoit was feuding with The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching that more. And back then when I was watching wrestling, starting to watch like wrestling in like after high school, it was like 2000, like summer 2000.
Yeah.
I've been cheering for the heels. I didn't care for The Rock. I didn't care for Y2J that much. I didn't care any of the good guys. I just like the bad guys to win. So I was like, okay, like Triple H was like my favorite wrestler. Agent Christian. So any like one that's like most of the wrestlers I like are anyone from Canada or
right
or Triple H. But the only heels I dislike back in the Smackdown was the right to censor.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good thing we're not going to mention them a lot. So, so after that special, UPN decided to give WWF their own show on Thursday nights, network television, might remind everyone, and it would be Smackdown. Now, the show premiered on August the 26th, 1999, so this is about a few days after that SummerSlam. Here are the results from the first episode of Smackdown. Billy Gunn pinned Jeff Jarrett in a non-title match. The Undertaker and Big Show defeated X-Pac and Kane and the Acolytes. The Big Boss Man beat Al Snow to become the Hardcore Champion. The Road Dogg defeated Chris Jericho by disqualification. It was Jericho's TV wrestling debut, which I did not realize.
Oh, wow.
Test proposed to Stephanie McMahon, and she said yes. Shane McMahon beat Mankind. Tori, not Tori Wilson, but... I know that.
I know that.
I just wanted to make it clear. Tori beat Ivory in a non-title evening gown match. And the main event of the first episode, Triple H successfully defended the WWF title, beating The Rock after guest referee Shawn Michaels hit the super kick on The Rock.
Oh, I saw clips of that back in the day. Because I remember watching. I remember Shawn Michaels threw ejected China.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember watching that match. I think this was when China and Triple H were an item.
Yep, that's
storyline, story wise. I don't know if that's true.
But yep, that's how SmackDown started, folks, back in 1999. Now, something that always intrigued me, Ed, and this is something that I don't think a lot of people discuss, as far as what SmackDown had to compete against on TV, because they were on from 8 to 10 p.m. And the shows that they had to deal with were just it was like Murderer's Row almost.
Wow.
So I have up in front of me what the fall 9th... Ow. Excuse me.
Yeah, careful there, bud.
Yeah, I know, man. SmackDown's going to kill me this week. No. I have in front of me the fall 1999 network schedule for Thursday nights. So let me tell you guys what SmackDown went up against the major networks from 8 to 10 p.m. On ABC was an hour of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
With Drew Carey.
With Drew Carey, right. And then, originally at 9 was the show Wasteland, which did not last long, and then was later replaced by Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Is that your final answer?
I'm afraid it is. On CBS, it was Diagnosis Murder and Chicago Hope. So they were dealing with Dick Van Dyke. On Fox, now the Fox had a weird-ass schedule. Originally, it was from 8 to 9, World's Wildest Police Videos, then Family Guy, and then a show called Action, which only lasted a year.
I had no clue what that action was.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
But Family Guy, I remember when Family Guy aired
on
Fox. I think it was, but then it got pulled off. It got pulled off the air for until 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah.
Back.
And then later, they would air Guinness World Records Prime Time, and then the game show Greed. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember Greed. It was like I think it was competing with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
And then the other show that you mentioned, it was like Guinness Book of World Records or whatever, World Records.
Yeah.
I think the commercial that kind of freaked me out was like this long ass tumor.
Oh God.
This one guy. I was like, oh my goodness, I can't look at that.
They had some freaky shit on there, folks. And then there's NBC. You know, must-see TV. This is what they had to deal with. Friends at 8 o'clock. 8:30 was a little complicated, but they had a show called Jessie, and then a show called Daddy-O, which I have no idea what that was about. No idea.
Okay.
At 9 was Frasier, and then at 9:30, depending on the time of the year, was Stark Raving Mad, Battery Park, and Just Shoot Me.
Oh, I remember watching Just Shoot Me, but I don't remember the other shows.
Was that one the photography? Was that like the picture one? And
I couldn't remember. I think it was like I know what the act. I think Michael J. Fox was in that show. I can't remember. Okay. I'm gonna go wiki it.
Okay. And then finally on the WB, they had Popular, which I don't remember that show.
Actually, for Just Shoot Me, it's Dennis Spade.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I got those two a little mixed up.
That's okay. So, WB had a show called Popular, and then Charmed. That was what SmackDown was going up against when it first started.
Wow.
So, the times sure have changed since August 1999, to say the least. Now I want to get on, because you talked about how you got into wrestling about 2000, and Kurt Angle was one of your earliest memories. How much of SmackDown did you like? How often would you watch it when it was on, when it was at its peak popularity?
Let's see. most of the time I try watching it every week, but like usually sometimes, excuse me, like, no, I'm not sick, guys. But anyway, I remember well, usually during school time, wait, actually, you know what, I'm wrong. Like Thursdays, like I have Fridays off of school. I'm always off Fridays, and I was like after Thursdays I could like relax because I'm used to like watching SmackDown like every Thursdays. But there are times that I miss like sometimes I miss part of the invasion angle through the school,
Right.
And because I have a class the following night. That was like 2001, 2002, and then I just been following it. I think I stopped watching it. I think when they did the draft, I just don't watch it as much because of because it was spoiled, because they had this, and that kind of throw me off at times. Like every Tuesday I think it was like either Tuesday or Wednesday. I think WWF.com was the first to post the spoilers, and to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And that kind of like, okay, that's it. I can't watch this show anymore.
Right.
It's like when Stephanie McMahon became GM. I think when the brand splits, that's when I kind of lost interest. I heard there were some good moments during the split.
There were.
I was a Raw guy.
Right.
For a while. And like, the only thing I like about SmackDown during the time was the Cruiserweight title. And like with Raw, the only thing that's good about Raw is the hardcore matches. And and most of the pros from WCW were on ECW or on Raw, and then SmackDown is just all the WCW cruiserweights.
Right. Well, I mean, a little later on, we're gonna have a discussion because WWE had two lists, so we're gonna have a discussion on those a little later. I know for me, I stayed with SmackDown as far as watching it consistently till about 2004. And then it was like after 2004 was like, it was like you said, the spoilers was a big thing because it was pre-recorded, it was taped and aired 2 days later, and then eventually when it did move to Fridays, 3 days later. I think one of the things, and somebody brought this up in our Facebook group, and I sort of want your opinion on this. SmackDown as a show has lost its value. Do you agree or do you disagree with that?
I'm like in between, because I think when they stopped doing, because I think the problem, I'm guessing what my main problem is, like, like with Raw, it's being like from 9 to like, or 8 to 11,
yeah.
And then SmackDown's like 8 to 10, so I guess I wish, like with SmackDown, I wish it should be like longer. That's why it did. That's like the downside of SmackDown to me. And another thing, I don't know what else made me lose interest. I think like the thing is, I've been watching. Sometimes I watch SmackDown on Tuesdays. Most of the time I watched it, but I think like when it was the fall, like all those like new shows, like when you see like all the shows on new episodes of your favorite TV shows, or my favorite TV shows like Flash and Black Lightning it was aired, like new episodes start Tuesday, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go miss SmackDown. I'm probably gonna miss SmackDown, so I'm guessing it's because of the TV lineup. Like with other shows, like other people watching other stuff, they don't even care about SmackDown, or it's just too short. And like, I'm not talking about SmackDown only, but also the same goes with Raw, like Mondays and fall. Monday Night Football, people mostly like watch Monday Night Football than wrestling.
I think the biggest problem that SmackDown as a whole, as a show, has had the entire time, and it's not part of it is their fault. Let me say that. Part of it is their fault.
Okay.
The other half goes to whatever channel it's on. Because they have moved so many times. Because they started on UPN.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went to the WB, which became the CW.
Right.
And that was on Fridays. Then they went to the Sci-Fi Channel. And then they moved to the USA Network, which is where it's at right now, and moved it to Tuesdays. When we get to this date next year, it will have moved again to Fox on a Friday night. So I think if you're going to look at the biggest problem SmackDown has had, it's they've never had the consistency of staying on one specific day.
I agree. I agree because it's like they never think about like with SmackDown. I remember it started, as you said, started out from UPN and UPN to CW / WB. They just couldn't make up their minds. I think they're trying to get more viewers, but
Right.
I don't think it's going to be. I think it's just being difficult. They should just I don't know.
Although the deal that they have with Fox, the 5-year deal for $1 billion is that's a pretty good deal. You know, I think even I would have taken that deal for $1 billion to go on Fridays.
Right.
Because in all honesty, from that 8 to 10 time slot, I can't think of any shows that are on network TV that people stay home to watch, because Fridays are a night that people go out.
Exactly. Like, not many people, like, as I said, like, there isn't really anything good on Friday nights these days. Like, it's true, like, most of the time I'm always out on Friday nights. But, like, the thing is, I remember when Friday nights with the ABC, TGIF.
Yeah.
Back then, it was like, okay, it's Friday night, just watch television, relax, watch television, and like watch like Family Matters, Full House, or whatever, or Step by Step, or whatever the lineup is. But that was like then, and then like lately, everyone just doesn't want to feel like watching television on Fridays because it's like, oh, I would rather be out more than being like super glued to the glowing box.
Exactly. So I think, and I know we're a year away from this happening, in the small run, in the beginning, I think it's going to be successful. Like the first 4 weeks. It's after they get into that first month. How is it going to go from there? How are the ratings going to be? Are they going to continuously be good? Because right now on USA Network, they're like a 1-7 on a Tuesday night. So,
yeah, that's sad because I guess like with other people watching other shows that it's their Smackdown, either that or people those days don't give a fuck about wrestling anymore. They don't care. They ain't like the storylines or.
And Tuesday's such a loaded night too. Because you got NCIS, you've got This Is Us. I think NCIS New Orleans is on that night too. There's so many shows. So
yeah, CBS, CW. I don't know if NBC has some new shows. I guess I've been watching. Usually when I watch, my Tuesday nights are like Arrow and
and The Flash.
Flash and Black Lightning.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Arrow is new tonight, but I always DVR it. So, if I miss Arrow tonight, I'll just check it whenever.
Yeah.
Or I can watch it on my laptop.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that we should bring up, and this is something that, you know, depending on what you think and where you stand, is not only an important moment for the history of WWE, but it's sort of an an overlooked moment in the history of television.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that Smackdown was the first live event, the first major gathering of people after 9/11.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that episode. And this is going me back watching other wrestling. It was like going way back because I remember watching it and it was like it was like a nice tribute show.
It really was.
It was like I remember like all the speech, like I don't know what you call it.
Well,
like
Vince with the speech at the beginning.
The speech with the beginning, but I'm talking about like when
oh yeah
the superstars telling about like reflecting about 9/11.
Yeah.
But I remember the funniest one was Daisiak.
Oh yeah, he had that segment with The Rock because it was like, "Do you like pie? No, I like cake."
This is when this is Stasiak's gimmick when he like becomes a clumsy klutz, and then he injures himself after each match before the. And I remember, and then he's trying to do his reflection on 9/11, but he keeps on messing up.
Well,
because I think I don't know if it's part of if it's his gimmick or if it's. I don't know. I haven't watched. If I could remember, I remember watching it, but it was I remember watching that episode. Oh my goodness, that was like, oh my.
But with that episode, because originally that day, September the 11th, was going to be a taped show in Houston, Texas, and because of what happened on that day, they postponed the taping. So I guess they had a meeting the next day, and they must have had a meeting with the people at the arena because this was, 24 hours after. And Vince, being the guy that he is, because he does take risks. Let's say that. Vince McMahon will take risks.
Right.
He decided, you know what? We're going to do the show. We're going to do it on Thursday night. We're going to do it live. And he does this. They do the show, and the wrestlers were told, if you don't want to wrestle that night, you don't have to. But Vince comes out, he's standing in the middle of the ring, beginning of the show, and he gives this great speech about the spirit of America. And it was a terrific speech. And then Lillian sang the national anthem. And it was a really good show. But the one thing that I remember the most from that episode, and I want to see if this triggers a memory in your mind, Ed.
Okay.
Stephanie McMahon did a thing where, because everyone was talking about, sending our get well wishes, hope everyone's okay. That stuff. Stephanie McMahon compared 9/11 to her dad going on trial for steroids.
Oh my god. I don't remember that that skit, but I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yep. And it was voted by the Wrestling Observer newsletter the worst promotional tactic of 2001. And it wasn't even a promotional tactic. It was just Stephanie saying, 9/11 is as bad as when my dad went to court and he could have gone to jail. Oh, man.
I think, because I remember, I think it was it's still the invasion angle.
Yeah, the invasion angle was still going.
So that's why they had to she had to put a heel promo.
Okay. With this one, it wasn't a heel promo. It was her being her.
Oh, okay.
And so for that night, they all broke character, which I thought was good, because 2 days after a national tragedy, which it was, you needed something to entertain. I still have the tape of that episode. I recorded that episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I still have
the tape. You have to show that to me next time.
I think I will. You guys have a VCR, right?
Oh, yeah, I do have a VCR.
Okay, I'm gonna find the tape, and I'll bring it next time, and we'll watch it, and we'll laugh and drop our jaws at Stephanie McMahon's comments about 9/11 and her dad going on trial.
Another edition of Bill and Ed's Let's Watch.
Yep. Because we've already watched a lot of crazy crap, folks. Believe me. Yeah. Excuse me. So there have been many moments on SmackDown. We talked about the love triangle with Hunter, Steph, and Kerr. We talked about the 9/11 episode. Do you have other moments from SmackDown that you remember vividly?
I didn't watch some of the scenes, but I remember watching tapings in Velocity.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan as Mr. America.
Yep.
And they did the lie detector test. Oh my goodness.
That was a good segment.
And Mr. America passed, but when Vince put it on, he was like, and then it's like, damn it, turn this off. All this buzzer. Oh my goodness, that was a classic one. Let's see, back in, because I didn't even watch that much. Another one I remember, the Billy and Chuck wedding.
Yes, that was a huge deal.
It was funny, towards the end, when they were saying, "Oh, this is a publicity stunt,"
mm-hmm.
and then, oh my goodness,
that was a really good segment. Now I'm thinking of it.
And then when Bischoff or the Man of Peace revealed the mask and it was Eric Bischoff, I was like, "Oh my goodness, that was a good segment." And then, Rico went to SmackDown, went to Raw, and a 3-minute warning attacked everyone. Yep. And then they were about to, one of them was, I think it was Jamal or Rico or Rosie was about to do a splash on Stephanie McMahon, but the whole SmackDown locker came to the rescue. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I've been watching that countless times because that was a good segment. And then, let's see. It was but the funniest thing was, on Raw, Eric Bischoff did Hot Lesbian
right, the few days before, yeah.
But they ended up getting crushed by 3-minute warning. And then, the following Raw, Eric Bischoff got backfired.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the women was actually Steph McMahon.
Right. I sort of wonder whatever happened to those two women that were in that HLA segment.
That's a good question.
I wonder. I want to bounce off on the Billy and Chuck thing because my sister, Mandy, she would go to some shows with me here and there. Not all the time, but some shows. We were at a house show in D.C. the Saturday after Billy and Chuck, the engagement was announced.
Mm-hmm.
I will never forget, Ed, when that first note of that song played, the whole arena popped. It was incredible. It was like, oh my God, they got this kind of a reaction from just 2 days ago.
Yep.
It was amazing. That was amazing. I'll never forget it.
Mm-hmm. I also would like to discuss some other gimmicks I recall. And
yeah, absolutely. We
Mordecai.
got plenty of time. Oh, Mordecai.
Oh my goodness, that should have stated. I wanted to see him and the Undertaker go at it. But then I don't know what happened. What happened to that character?
It just didn't work.
I think, I don't know if I think the Kevin Fatigue or Kevin Thorne. I think he got. I don't know if he was injured or suspended.
Right.
That was one gimmick I remember. Another ones I remember. Funaki does a lot of interesting gimmicks.
Oh yeah, he's
Smackdown number one there.
Yeah, he's an unsung hero of that show.
And Kung Funaki.
Yep.
That's a good one. Another gimmick that I liked in SmackDown was Paul Burchill as a pirate.
Oh,
I wish that continues. But I know but then I think Vince McMahon decided to just say no or not.
They were a little behind on that Pirates of the Caribbean popularity at that time.
Go ahead if you have anything else.
No, I was gonna add, as far as characters go, the Boogeyman.
Oh man,
how immensely popular that gimmick was, and it's like when you look at it, it's like, okay, this is just a dumb gimmick, but the guy pulled it off to perfection. And I think that's one of the most liked gimmicks ever on SmackDown.
Did he get fired or what?
No, but I know he's welcome. I mean, he's always welcomed in WWE. So, because he was at Raw 25 earlier this year, so he's on good terms with them.
Okay. I thought he got. I don't know, because I didn't see him wrestle after a year. I think he went to ECW for a while, or it was like a SmackDown to ECW, and I don't know. I don't recall him winning a title or did anything.
I don't think he ever did. Now that you mention it.
Because I remember it would be nice if he had like a belt or something, or a title match, but I guess. Or maybe have a heel turn for him,
right,
but I didn't know what happened to it. Did they just drop the gimmick? Makes me wonder if I know the gimmick is still on and off.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But if he was like full time, I don't know if he wrestled full time or he got injured. He was injured after that, but
I think he's in his 50s.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
But not speaking of Boogeyman, didn't he compete for the Tough Enough?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's originally, he tried out for Tough Enough, and he lied about his age and didn't make the show, but they liked him so much that they're like, you know what, we're gonna give you a shot. Just come to OVW and we'll give you a shot. So, and the rest is history.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of Tough Enough, I remember, I don't know if it was SmackDown that did the Tough Enough,
yep.
The one with The Miz.
That was the one with The Miz, yep.
Yeah, but The Miz didn't win.
Right, he lost at the end.
He lost to Daniel Puder, and what's funniest thing is, he only made he only had one, I think he only wrestled in the Rumble, and then after that, I think they sent him to the minors, I think, or the OP, and they want to rest. And then and I think he badmouthed WWE.
He had a bad attitude, yeah.
Because if he was still with the WWE, I wanted to see him and The Miz go at it.
I wonder how that would work in this day, today.
Yeah, that would be like going after, like like maybe interrupt Miz TV or just do something.
As a one-off, yeah.
Yeah, I just
what is he doing? Well, let me check what he's doing. Well, Daniel Puder retired from MMA, retired from wrestling. He's currently he coaches mixed martial arts using the private coaching service Coach Up. He has become a born-again Christian. Did not know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or, as Jim Cornette once famously said, he found God. I didn't know God was missing. So yeah, he's doing work. He's only 37. My God.
Oh, my goodness.
He's only 37?
Like you're older than me.
Wow, that's a bit scary.
Yeah.
I want to bring up real quick 2 SmackDown moments for me.
Okay.
The first one, and it's probably the greatest SmackDown moment of all time, is when Brock Lesnar superplexes the Big Show and the ring breaks.
Holy shit, I remember that.
That had, I mean, I don't think we'd ever seen anything like that. And the whole arena went crazy. And it was such a great visual.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a great visual. That still might be the best moment ever on that show. The other moment that I want to bring up was not on TV. It was in the audience because I have attended a SmackDown taping. This was 2004. And this was like a few days after the Royal Rumble that year. I had the flu. Like a minor case of the flu, but I had the flu. I went to the taping. And that night, that episode was, they were going to do a mini Royal Rumble where the winner was going to face Brock for the WWE title at the next pay-per-view. Well, Eddie was one of the participants, Eddie Guerrero was one of the participants going into that match. And during the night, he got beat up. And there's like a screenshot of DC and one of the hospitals. And I never forget, this one person said out loud, "Oh man, Eddie's in the hospital. He might not make it back. Those hospitals are bad."
Oh my goodness.
Oh, but Eddie would come back later in the night. So, but yeah, I remember that. That was a funny quote from that gentleman.
Yeah. Speaking of SmackDown tapings or SmackDown events, I actually went to a SmackDown back in 2005 at the Baltimore Arena, aka Royal Farm. Actually, it's now Royal Farms Arena.
Right.
And I was on. I carried a sign that says "Unleash the Animal," and on that day, it was like towards the end of the show. I was on television.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, if I still have, and then I think I saved it on like a video. I think I found it like on a torrent site, the SmackDown episode. So I wanted to post that episode, like get that clip of me on that show carrying that sign, and I'm like, oh my, holy shit! I didn't know I was on television. Like, it was so funny is the day after SmackDown, I went to California to visit my brother and my sister that time, and then during dinner time we watched. I put it on SmackDown, and then I was like watching. It was like towards the end of the show, and then there's a picture of a sign that says "Unleash the Animal." I was like, holy shit, that's me! was like, oh my god, it's me. So I was like, and then my brother's like, I saw you on television.
Hey, but you know what though? You're probably on the WWE Network.
If they had that episode, and it was like Batista, and I think it was like this, it was a JBL's thing promo at the end, and Batista came by to when Batista interrupted. It was before the Great American Bash.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they'll have it, but if they do, my goodness, I am gonna put that on I'm gonna put that on every social media.
Let me find the episode. Oh no, I don't want Raw. I want SmackDown. Hold on.
It was SmackDown. It was JBL, and then it was like I think it was like for the Great American Bash speech, and then they had a picture of like I remember there was like a magazine cover of like JBL doing the Superman thing with the SmackDown, and I think in the actual cover is Batista.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Okay, it is the July 21st edition of SmackDown. July 21st, 2005.
Oh wow, that was the same night. Speaking of that day, that was the same night Simon Dean came out as both. I think that's his real name. The one who. I know it was like Nova, and then he switched character later on. He started out as Nova in the Velocity tapings, and then switched from Nova to Simon Dean when he's facing Booker T, doing his Simon Dean gimmick.
Right.
And I remember that, and that was like I also remember the Mexicals were in that match.
Yeah. So yeah, look it up. July 21st, 2005, that's the episode of SmackDown that Ed appeared on.
Mm-hmm.
So look for him, look for the sign, unleash the animal.
Yeah, look for that sign. If you find it, just message me or message Bill, and then I'll...
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know, because I wouldn't mind watching that.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah.
Alright. Now, over the years, over the 999 episodes of SmackDown, there have been some good matches. There have been some great matches. And then there are the best of the best. So, what I have here is a list from WWE.com, which I'll post on our Facebook group, of the 15 best SmackDown matches of all time. Not 50, not 100, 15. Because that's how cheap WWE.com is. So, I have the list in front of me. I've already seen the list. We're going to discuss this. We're going to decide if we think it belongs on the list, if it's too high, if it's too low, or if we never seen the match or just don't even remember. So, let's take a look. So, match number 15, the 15th greatest match of SmackDown. Jeff Hardy versus Triple H Intercontinental Title match, April 12th, 2001.
I read that in the spoilers, so...
I do remember watching that match. It was a good match. And the fact that Jeff Hardy won the Intercontinental title made it a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm okay with that one. I'm okay with that being on a list.
Right.
Number 14. Team Angle, Charlie Haas and Shawn Benjamin, against Eddie Guerrero and Tajiri for the WWE Tag Team titles, May 29th, 2003.
I prefer Eddie Guerrero teaming up with Chavo.
Okay.
But Eddie Guerrero and Tajiri, that is just a weird tag team.
It wasn't that bad of a team.
It was a good team, but it's just... But the funniest one about that tag team was I remember when Eddie Guerrero turned on Tajiri for I forget I forget the reason of the heel turn.
Yeah.
But then a few weeks later, they did a double turn.
Poor Tajiri. He gets no love. I don't remember this match, actually. I don't remember this match. I remember the two teams, but I don't remember this match.
Yeah, I think this was the part when Team Angle was going on. I think what's it? You said what day was it? Was it like in April or March?
May 29th, 2003.
I'm not sure if this was the time when Team Angle broke up or if they became the greatest.
Right.
Did it say Team Angle? It says Team Angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I remember them as the greatest American tag team.
Right.
Tag team. World's greatest tag team, or one of those, whatever. So, because I think that was because I remember, I think Kurt Angle was injured around that time,
You're right.
Guessing, yeah, I think it was a time, and, he was injured, he lost the belt to Lesnar.
Had the neck surgery.
Yeah, I remember that part. And then it was just Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. They called themselves Team Angle. They should I'm surprised they got the name even though Kurt Angle's injured.
Well, they kept it for a little bit longer, and then they changed it to the world's greatest tag team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's world. Yeah, I remember because I remember Kurt Angle because Kurt Angle when he returned from his injury, he was a babyface.
Yeah.
And he said, "Get out of my team! Get out!"
All right, number 13. Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's title inside a steel cage, January 17th, 2017.
I saw bits and pieces of that match, but the interesting part was that female luchador.
Yep.
I knew it was Mickie James all along when it was Mickie James because that was the one. I think was it the one that did they unmask her that night?
Yeah, that was the night.
Yeah, I knew it was Mickie James.
That was the night. Yeah, I can go with this. I can go with this match. I'm okay with it. Number 12. This is actually a match we talked about earlier. Triple H versus The Rock, WWE title, Shawn Michaels, the guest referee.
No comment because we discussed it earlier.
Yeah, we're gonna skip this one because we did talk about it. out of time wise, but all right. Number 11. Kurt Angle versus Booker T for the WCW title, July 26, 2001. I
remember watching that. That was a good episode. That was a good match. Or I forget if I was away during that time, but I remember watching it. That was a good one, and that was like first time seeing Angle having the WCW title, and then I wanted him to be when he was the babyface. I wanted him to have both WCW and WWF titles.
Yeah, but it didn't last too long as Booker would get the title back.
Thanks to Stone Cold Steve Austin.
But it would lead to a very good SummerSlam, as has been talked about on this show before. So, no, this was a really good match. I liked this match. Number 10, the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, June 27th, 2017.
I don't know if I remember watching that one. Was it the rematch?
That was the rematch.
Okay, now that recalls because I remember in the pay-per-view, Ellsworth.
Yep.
I think Jamie Ellsworth, she helped
Carmella win.
And then this time, Carmella got it back.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all right, or I think it was better. Actually, you know what? It was better than the pay-per-view women's.
Yeah, it was. I think there's a lot of the environment made a big difference. I think in this one, and then Carmella won, and then she would end up cashing in, and she would be the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Yep.
And
now she's teaming up with
R-Truth.
Yep.
And she dyed her hair recently.
I saw.
I don't know if I'm a fan of that or not.
Well, I remember back in the day when I was saying like, this is like a couple years. I talked about why every blonde.
All of them were blonde. Yep.
Every heel diva is blonde.
Yep.
I was like, oh my goodness. I remember I discussed that, and I'm like, oh god.
Well, I don't think they have any heel blondes on SmackDown right now, so.
That's true.
On Raw, yes, but maybe not SmackDown. Number 9, Eddie Guerrero versus John Cena, U.S. title match, parking lot brawl, September 11th, 2003.
Well, I don't remember if I think if I did watch that, I probably fell asleep. Because obviously I was at the 8 at that time. I think when I found SmackDown boring, but Raw better.
It was a good fight. It was a good end to the feud that they had. But this gets overshadowed by another match that happens later in the show, which we'll talk about later on. As far as it being a brawl, it's a good brawl. I mean, this is Cena before he becomes arguably one of the biggest stars in the history of the business. So, but no, that was a fun one. Number 8, Rey Mysterio versus Matt Hardy for the Cruiserweight title, June 5th, 2003.
Rey deserved it. Because I remember every time like Rey Mysterio wrestled for Cruiserweight, he failed. Mm-hmm. And if this was at his hometown San Diego,
yeah, it was.
He deserved that. That was his moment. That was a great moment. I'm glad he won that day.
I also
right
remember
in front of his family.
I also remember that was the main event for that SmackDown.
Yep.
Which was a big deal.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm. That was a good match. Now that we're talking about it, that was a good match. Number 7, John Cena versus Shinsuke Nakamura, August 1st, 2017.
Let's see. Oh wait, I was thinking of heel Nakamura, but I think this was a face versus face.
Yeah, this was a really good match.
That was a good one, yeah. Yep.
This was a really good match. The right guy went over. And it really was a dream match, and it was just a good match. Oh, it was a good match.
Yeah.
Number 6, JBL versus Eddie Guerrero, WWE title, inside a steel cage, July 15, 2004.
I remember watching the ending of that match. It was by like Luchador.
Yeah.
And it was actually Kurt Angle. And because I remember like Kurt Angle was in a wheelchair and all that.
Because he was the GM at the time.
Yeah, he was. Like he had this awesome wheelchair and all. And I remember that time it was all. And then he came out. He helped JBL win the match, and then it was Kurt Angle. And then following week, he got fired.
Yep, he sure did. This is, I think, the 3rd Eddie Guerrero match on this list?
Yep, Eddie makes SmackDown memorable.
He's a big part of it. He is a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Eddie Guerrero, he's in our next match, number 5, Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Los Guerreros, number 1 contender match for the WWE Tag Team titles, October 24, 2002.
That one was a good match. I think I remember they did this like whole tag tournament, and of course, and I remember Benoit and
Angle won the titles,
and they it was a time when they couldn't coexist as a tag team.
Right. I don't remember this match actually. I remember the match where Edge and Ray win the titles, but I don't remember this match. It's very weird. It's very weird.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. This might be the controversial one. The New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers Smackdown Tag Team Title match, no disqualification, August 21st, 2018.
I don't remember watching that one. But, Bludgeon Brothers, holy shit.
This match is too high on this list. It's an example of, hey, we remembered this match happening. It was good. Let's put it in our top 5. And that's what they did here. Is it top 15? Maybe. But
to be honest, I would put that like in like number 15 or low.
Yeah, this would be lower.
A higher number, not like a lower number.
Yeah, this would be further down on the list.
Because that's just something that's brand new.
And the only reason that this match happened is because one of the Bludgeon Brothers tore his bicep a few days before, so. But anyway. Number 3. The Shield versus Randy Orton and Team Hell No, June 14th, 2013. Wow, I've never seen this match.
I don't remember. I remember Team Hell No, and
yeah.
I remember. I know Randy Orton was a babyface.
Yeah, at that time.
And the Shield were like the heels, and I kind of like the Shield as faces more than heels.
Right. Wow, I don't remember this match. I don't think I ever
don't
saw
recall
this
it.
match.
I don't recall it anyway.
Yeah. So we'll give it. We'll pass it. Number 2. Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship in an Iron Man match, September 18th, 2003.
I heard that one was a classic.
Oh, it's a great match.
And I think I might have seen I read it in the spoilers though, but I didn't watch it. And I forgot what I was doing that day.
Oh my gosh, what a match that was. I remember it because that day we had a hurricane come by, and there was a possibility that we were going to lose power, but thankfully we did not lose power. And yeah, I remember watching that match. That was a great match. Oh my gosh.
All right.
There were only 3 other matches on that show that week. Would you like to know the other 3?
Go for it.
All right. The other 3 matches that took place on this episode of SmackDown. Chris Benoit and Rey Mysterio beat Rhino and Tajiri. Shaniqua beat Tori Wilson and Nydia in a handicap match. And the Guerreros beat Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin to win the WWE Tag Team titles.
I like the WWE Tag Team titles one. I don't remember watching it, but I like it when Los Guerreros.
Yeah.
Los Guerreros will always be one of my top tag teams besides Edge and Christian.
So yeah, it was 4 matches, but that last one, oh, that was great. And according to WWE.com, the greatest match in SmackDown history, Edge versus Eddie Guerrero in a no disqualification match, September 26, 2002.
Oh my goodness, that was a good match. I remember watching that, and towards the end of that match, they they shook each other's hand.
Yeah,
and
they got a standing ovation. I remember that.
Oh my goodness, I remember watching that match. It was a classic.
I don't have a problem with this being number one, but I would put the Iron Man match at number one for me. That's just my opinion. But I can't argue with number one. That is a really good match.
Yep. I think I would put if I ever have some honorable mention matches, I would have put RVD, Rob Van Dam, and Rey Mysterio versus the team of Rene Dupree and Kenzo Suzuki.
Okay.
That was an honorable mention. Another one, Edge and Hulk Hogan against Billy and Chuck.
Yep. 4th of July.
That was a good one. I'm trying to think what other good matches are there. Just some. I think that deserve honorable mention.
There was a match on that same show, the Hogan and Edge tag match, that was really good. Kurt Angle and Undertaker for the WWE title.
Oh wow.
That was a really good match.
Oh, another one I remember was the WWF can't or WWE can't mention his name anymore.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Chris Benoit versus Orlando Jordan.
Oh, that wasn't what I thought you were going for.
But I think any of the Benoit matches were pretty good.
I would put.
On which Benoit were you thinking?
I was thinking of TLC 3, which was
Benoit
and Jericho, the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge, and Christian. I love that match. That
one should have been on the list, but
yeah, I love it. I absolutely love that match.
If they allow Benoit's name to be mentioned, that could be it could be in the top 5.
Oh, it would be it's easily in my top 5. No
yeah,
doubt.
because every match Benoit was in SmackDown, it was very good. Not just the pay-per-views, but I'm talking about SmackDown matches.
Oh, yeah.
And then I also remember his heel days when Benoit attacked Y2J and backstage, and then Benoit slammed the garage. It was a garage door, or on his chest, and then
I remember that
Benoit hit him countless times. Oh my goodness, that was thing is, I think the reason why I like the heels then because they're the bad guys and they tend to be aggressive. Mm-hmm. And then it was when I started watching wrestling again back in 2000s. Later on, I discovered I decided to watch ECW in addition to SmackDown, and then it's funny. And then it was a time when ECW was about to fall, was about to go downhill. And same thing with WCW. So I was oh, why did I pick the bad time watching WWF's competitors? I'm oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So another let's see what other I think there were some good RVD matches, but I think RVD was with a tag team most of the time. But the funniest moment was when Kenta Suzuki was singing "Living in America."
Oh no!
Living in America. I don't know what the lyrics go, and then the ref decided to eject Kenta Suzuki because it was horrible, terrible singing. That was Kenta Suzuki's pro-American gimmick with terrible singing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I remember, real quick, there was a segment with Kenzo Suzuki. It was a Thanksgiving episode. and it was his wife. It was his legitimate wife, was his manager. And she was like, What piece of turkey would you like? Would you like the leg or the thigh? And he just blurts out, breast! And there's Tori Wilson right there on the TV, so.
Oh, man.
All right, so we have talked about the matches. Let's talk about the people, and in particular the wrestlers, because there have been wrestlers who have made it famous on SmackDown. So WWE.com put out another list, and we'll post this on our Facebook group as well, of the 15 greatest superstars in SmackDown history. So we're going to discuss this, and we're going to see if we agree with, ultimately, number one, and anything else. Number 15, Michelle McCool. Are you kidding me?
I don't think she belongs there.
If it was her,
I know she was a manager. I remember she was a manager for this one tag team, Teacher's Pets.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work.
If it was her and Layla together, I'd be okay. That makes sense.
But I never see her as a part of unless you're thinking about like the SmackDown Diva competition.
Right.
That was the only thing she did good. I think she won that whole thing.
Yeah, and then she ended up winning something else, winning the marriage of The Undertaker. Because they were still together.
Yep.
Sort of glad they are. 14, JBL.
JBL, heel or face, he was always good at Smack. He's always a good SmackDown wrestler. Like whether he's Bradshaw or whether he's Wall Street Kid or Wall Street Man, whatever. He's a great SmackDown.
Honestly, I thought his best period was when he did become JBL. Like that 2-year period, I thought was his best period.
Yeah. I think, when he started with JBL, he won like the world title.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
he held it for until WrestleMania.
Yeah, he held it for a long period of time.
Yep.
Number 13, John Cena. That's a tough one.
Well, before he did this Vanilla Ice gimmick, I like it when he was like aggressive.
Right, that's how he debuted.
Like how his original gimmick when he debuted. I wish he kept that gimmick, which is that was a good gimmick before he did that whole rapper gimmick, villain Vanilla Ice gimmick. But then again, he won I think, but he's still in that gimmick. I can't tell if he
not as much.
Just like a neutral type.
Right.
I can't tell his current gimmick. After that
I would have bumped him up a little bit more because SmackDown was where he started, but man, that's where he developed all the tools, and then that's when he became a marquee guy. And then once he goes to Raw, the rest is history. So, Number 12, Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, I remember his debut. He debuted. I remember the SmackDown debut.
Mm-hmm.
Faced Bob Holly
and won.
Yep, that was a good debut. But then when he went to Raw, oh my goodness. Well, him as a babyface, when he started out as a babyface, that was his good moment. And then when he turned heel, I say he's a better heel than a face.
I think so too. I have said multiple times on this show, I think he's a bit overrated. But yeah. I'm not going to say that, he's terrible completely. He's had good periods, and SmackDown was when he had a good period of time.
Exactly.
So, I'm not going to say that Randy Orton has been terrible his entire career. I just think he's just a little bit overrated.
Yeah.
Number 11, Becky Lynch.
She deserved it.
I'm surprised she's this high on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against her, but wow, number 11. Well, I mean, she was the first SmackDown Women's Champion, so that, brings a good argument for her being at 11.
Right.
So, no, I got no problem with that. Number 10, Rey Mysterio.
Definitely, he deserved it. Cruiserweight champion, world champion, multiple tag team champion.
U.S. champ.
Tools.
Yeah, he won everything.
He got the tools.
When he went to WWE and started at Smackdown, that was probably the best thing to happen to him.
Yep.
Because he got put with a good group of wrestlers, a great roster of wrestlers. Him, Edge, the Guerreros, Angle, Benoit, Lesnar, Undertaker, Cena, Orton. I'm big shit. I'm just coming up with names. He got put in a really good group at the right time, and his popularity became bigger during that time.
So true.
Number 9, The New Day.
That one is a hit or miss.
Yeah. I mean,
I would put it like a little higher, but not low, around that the single digits.
Right.
Even though I like Xavier Woods.
I mean, the group is fun, but I don't know. Number 9. That's another one where I wonder if that's a bit high.
Yeah.
It might be. Although I like Kofi. I really like Kofi. I like all three of them. I really do.
Yeah, they're all cool. Yeah, they're all three of them.
They're all great.
Xavier Woods is a gamer. It's like and also he does this up down show.
Have you seen the videos where they do the hot nut challenge?
No, I haven't.
You have to see those. Those are really funny.
I'll check it out.
All right. Number 8, the Usos.
Another tag teams. Oh. Wow. But that's a good tag team as well.
Yeah, you know what?
I think the generation of tag teams are the Usos and the New Day and.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with them on this at 8.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. 7, Kurt Angle.
Definitely. He deserves to be on that list. He had a lot of accomplishments in SmackDown.
I thought he'd be top 5, honestly.
But I would say he deserves to be on the top 5.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But number 7, it's the placement needs to be a little low. It's too it's like I would say needs to be a little bit higher, like as in like maybe like number 4.
Yeah, because he's very important to that show.
Him at 7, that's pretty low.
Yeah. Number 6, Batista.
I was surprised. Let's see, Batista's in 6.
Ooh.
Like I like him in the earlier. I know he debuted in SmackDown as a Deacon,
right?
And enforcer for
Reverend Devon.
Yeah, that's right, Reverend Devon. But yeah, he and then like after he left Evolution and got he won the title, and then SmackDown drafted him. And he had and he held that title for a long time.
Yeah, he did. And he had some good matches, too. JBL, Undertaker,
yep.
Booker T,
Mm-hmm.
Eddie. Who knows how that storyline would have gone if Eddie hadn't died.
So true. Because what I could see is Eddie won the title, and then Batista took off, and then someone else competes for that title.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who would be next, like maybe Mr. Kennedy or I don't know.
Number 5, Eddie Guerrero.
Wow.
Speaking of.
Wow, he's congrats. He made the top 5, but I would put him like 2 or 3.
I mean, he's definitely top 5.
Like I'm glad he's on that spot.
Yeah.
A lot of memorable matches. I remember his gimmick. He has the best gimmick, like the Light and Steel gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
I love that gimmick. Or the one when he did this when he had China as Mamacita.
Yeah, when he was Latino Heat.
Oh, that was a good gimmick. He has some great moments in SmackDown. Heel or face.
He might be the most underappreciated wrestler ever on SmackDown. He did so much for that show and that brand. I mean, he won all their titles. He had good storylines. You know, he's easily top 5. Maybe even top 3. That's how...
I would say top 3.
Yeah, that's how impactful he was to that show. Number 4, Edge.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
He's really
this is a perfect spot, but I would put number 2 or number 1.
Really?
Because Edge was one of my favorite wrestlers when I started watching wrestling again.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-time tag team, multi-time, like, I know he won a lot, I think it was like 5-time world heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
He stole the show.
He was a great heel.
I like heel or face. Edge deserves it. Deserves that spot. Deserves to be on the top 5.
Yeah.
Where he's a tag team competitor or singles competitor. Edge will always be the greatest in my book.
Wow. All right. Number 3, AJ Styles.
He's pretty brand new, but I see him. I put him in the TNA in the Impact list, but him in WWE holding that title, that's very impressive. So.
It is. I mean, he's held it for almost a year.
Mm-hmm. So I think he's still in the top 5, but I would put him like 3 or 4. What number was that? 3
number
or
3?
Actually, you know what? He stays in 3.
I would switch him, actually. As much as I love AJ, and I really do, I'd switch him with Kurt. Because I think Kurt had more of an impact, pardon the pun, on SmackDown than AJ Styles has right now.
Right.
But maybe in a few years, my mind will change and be, yeah, AJ Styles deserves to be number 3. But he's doing a great job being the face of the show as the WWE champion. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 2, The Undertaker.
Ooh, that's a good one too. That's a perfect spot for him.
Yeah, that is. I mean...
Whether it's the American Badass or the Phenom,
Yep.
the Dead Man. He has a lot of memorable matches in SmackDown, also in WWE.
Yeah.
And WrestleMania.
You know, now that I'm thinking of it, another good match that wasn't mentioned on that list earlier was him and Batista in a steel cage. That was a good match. That had a really good ending.
Was that the match when Mark Henry came down and beat the shit out of
Yeah, and then Edge
Undertaker
cashed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. But no, Undertaker's been a very big part of that show. Very big. And number 1, I think this one's a no-brainer, The Rock.
Of course.
It has to be, right?
Of course, yeah. That's why, well, that's where, that's his show.
Yeah, I mean, the show is named after one of his sayings.
Yeah, lay the Smackdown on this, you keep on.
I mean,
yep.
I mean, Smackdown's even in the dictionary, for God's sakes.
Wow. Yep, he does it, yep. But now, like, I know he's an actor now, so, but back in the wrestle, it's tough switching between Edge and The Rock for, like, the number 1 spot.
Right.
On my list, but I was more towards Edge because there was a time when I was cheering for the bad guys the heels, when I started watching wrestling again. I was like towards the heels and not really towards the face. And then The Rock is a good athlete, good actor. Of course, he deserves it. That's his spot.
Yeah, I mean.
And what I wanted to see in the future, which I don't think it will ever happen. Like that will happen. A promo between The Rock and Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Those two have great mic skills.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
That will never happen. But if it did, I'll be like, oh my goodness, that would be. Because like with Mr. Kennedy does his his thing with the microphone, like Mr. Kennedy, and then Rock was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I wanted that to happen, but nope. That will never happen.
Yeah. Well, that's the list of the 15 best. I think it's safe to say number 1 is probably a no-brainer, I would think.
Yeah. What people? If you have like honorable mentions,
well,
who would be in that list? In that honorable mentions? What?
I'd say right off the bat, Chris Benoit.
I agree.
An honorable mention. Who? I would say, God, an honorable. You know what? I'd say Jericho would be an honorable mention.
Yep.
Because he had some good moments as well on SmackDown.
I would put Tajiri in the list. He was like cruiserweight, and then they had this stable.
Yeah, he was underrated there.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
RVD.
Yeah.
I would put RVD in that list. In that top 15. But I think he's more of an ECW guy than WWE.
I'm trying to think who else would be.
Nunzio or no?
No. Maybe Big Show.
Yeah,
Big Show could be an honorable mention.
Rikishi.
Yeah, that was another one I was thinking of.
Who else?
Oh, God, there aren't that many, really.
Mark Henry?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go with him.
Let's see, who else? That's just a tough list. I like as long as it's not like revamped stables like FBI and Pit Bulls.
Torrie Wilson would be an honorable mention.
Yep, that's a good one. Let's see.
Wow, there's so many.
Nydia?
No.
Okay.
As much as I like, I think she's a sweet lady, but no, she's not on that list. Oh gosh.
Hurricane.
Maybe. Although I think he was maybe more of a Raw person. Wow.
Billy Kidman.
That's another maybe.
Oh, I got one. the tag team that had it's Paul London and Brian Kendrick.
That was a good team. That was a good team. I don't know if they're top 15, but that was a good team to watch.
Yeah, I love their entrance when they did those flips.
Oh, what about Tony Chimmel, the ring announcer? That's an honorable mention right there. I mean, that was sort of like his show almost.
Yep.
I mean, as much fun as people make fun of him, you know, it's just the way he announces, you know.
Especially with Edge.
Yeah.
Like the superstar.
Rated R superstar.
It sounded like his voice cracked.
Yeah, it does. And then when he did the Undertaker, he's like, The Undertaker.
Who else? Let's see who else. Taz.
For commentary, yes.
Yeah, I like him as a commentary on
For
Smack.
commentary, yes. I'd put him as an honorable mention. Michael Cole. I know Michael Cole's not the most well-liked guy in the world, but when he was on SmackDown, he was good. He was good.
I agree. Him and Taz, that was like the best
was a
commentary.
Good commentary team. That never gets brought up enough, I think, for like greatest commentary team of all time. That was an underrated team.
Let's see who else.
Wow. Well, if we're gonna have Edge on there, we might as well talk about Christian.
Oh yeah, Christian. I forgot about Christian. Oh, Christian was a good one.
Yeah, Christian should be on there.
He had some He has a lot of moments.
Wow. Who else?
Matt Hardy.
Yeah, Matt Hardy. I agree with that. And Jeff. I'd say both of them.
The Hardy Boys. Yeah, Hardy Boys.
You could put them together or as separate entities.
I like it when they're the Hardy Boys, and as well as Matt Hardy's current the deletion.
Right.
That was a good one too, but he didn't do that in SmackDown.
Wow, I'm trying to think if there's any.
But his version 1.
Version 1 was really good.
Kane. You like version 1?
Yeah, Kane was good.
Oh yeah, Kane.
Kane was really good on SmackDown.
I like Kane when he. I think the best gimmick of Kane was in Raw when he was imitating the other gimmicks, especially Val Venus's gimmick.
And no, Val Venus is not getting an honorable mention on this list, so forget about it, folks. Wow. We said Big Show, we said Mark Henry, we said Kane.
I would say anyone that's WWE or WWF, not someone that's from ECW.
Wow, this is.
Even though we said Taz as commentator.
I think we've pretty much got everyone.
Oh, let's see, cruiserweights. Let's see, Jamie Noble.
I'm Jamie Noble, boy.
I know he has its moments on Smack.
He does. Well, Billy and Chuck.
Oh yeah.
Billy and Chuck. They had that run. It was short, but it was.
That was a great
impactful.
run. No. Or another gimmick with Chuck Palumbo. His motorcycle gimmick was pretty good too.
Oh.
Custom P.
I'm trying to think. If there's anyone else. Damn.
Wasn't Gangrel part of SmackDown?
Like in the very beginning, but that was about it.
I thought he did like a one. I thought he did this. Just a one time only with JBL. The minister. It was like JBL invited Gangrel and Viscera. Yeah, I remember that. It was one time only.
I'm trying to think. You know who I would put on this honorable mention list? Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan was a good one.
Because when he was on there, he had a meaningful purpose, and he let the younger guys over.
Mm-hmm.
So he deserves an honorable mention.
I was thinking Zach Gowen.
Oh,
but...
yeah, because that was a big deal at the time. He is still wrestling today, for those that are curious. Wow, I can't think of anybody else.
I would put Ernest the Cat Miller, but he is more of a WCW guy. And that was the part, I remember Smackdown when he did that Somebody Better Call His Mama.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the most hilarious gimmick.
Well, I mean, his inspiration was James Brown.
Yeah, but the thing that's so funny was when Brutus Clay took over, I was like, what? Okay, I hate this guy.
We're still waiting for the dream match of Ernest the Cat Miller and Brodus Clay. We have come up with the idea. If any indie promotion wants to book that match, you have our permission, but we want like 25% of the gate.
Yeah.
We want 25% of the gate.
A match, not a tag team.
No, just a match. A one-time match. And we want video evidence. Oh, my.
My goodness. I think we covered pretty much everyone. I
think so.
Yeah. Other ones I don't want to bring up, like the terrible gimmicks.
No.
like Reverend Devon, Mordecai.
You already brought up Paul Burchill.
Paul Burchill's a good one.
Oh, God.
I think there were some terrible gimmicks. I can't remember on top of my head.
Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find any that maybe were on SmackDown. Maybe. Wow, I don't think I can find. No. Was he on SmackDown? No, I don't think he was. No, he wasn't.
I forgot the minis, the juniors, the SmackDown juniors.
Wow, thanks for bringing that up.
It's like the lowest form of cruiserweights.
Yeah.
But that didn't last long.
No, it didn't.
Oh, another one I forgot to mention. Teddy Long.
Oh, yes. Oh,
he
my God.
He was the best SmackDown GM.
I would say him and Vicky Guerrero deserve honorable mentions on this list.
I know that name clicked. I was like, oh, we forgot about Teddy Long.
Oh, my God. How did we forget about him this entire time?
And, who else?
Oh, my God. I can't believe we forgot about Teddy. Honestly, I think that's it. I don't think we could top it.
You have just so many to think of.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you remember any wrestlers that you recall that we forgot to mention, feel free to comment about it.
Yes, please. Because I'm sure if we read them, we'll be like, oh my God, yes, that one.
Oh wait, I think there's one Farouk or Bronson. I think that's. I don't know about.
I don't know on that one.
But it's just a huge list.
Yeah, it is. All right. So why don't we put? Well, we're gonna end with this question because SmackDown will begin on Fox next October, right about this time next year. So my question to you, and we're gonna predict this right now, Ed. Will SmackDown still be on Fox by 2024, by the end of 2024?
I would say no, because if it's on a Friday night, not many people will watch it. I think most of the audience will be just younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the audience is. It's not like, because like majority, not many people of our age doesn't watch doesn't watch wrestling on a Friday night.
Right. It's usually DVR'd.
Yeah, it's going to be recorded, and if it's, do they say it's going to be live on Friday?
It is going to be live.
Okay, good. So no spoilers.
Yep.
Which is a good thing.
The only time it can be spoiled is if they're like in England. Other than that, we're good.
Another thing is I think another positive thing about it being on Friday night is if people could, like, since it's like a weekend, and if they don't have any other plans, they could just, and SmackDown's in your town, they could just go and attend it.
Yep. That's very true.
So, but to me, I think TV wise, I don't know. I think everyone's gonna DVR it.
Yeah.
Or either if kids say, oh, let's come over, we'll watch some SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's like all the younger generation fans. Come over, watch SmackDown.
I think for me, at least the first episode, I will watch it live.
That's what I would do, but or I'll DVR it.
Yeah.
But as far as it being I think that's just a bet. Yeah. I mean, I would say if SmackDown, I would say put it on Thursday. I think Thursday. Well, the problem is Thursdays and falls football.
Yeah, and they have that deal with the NFL, so they can't put it on Thursdays. It's going to have to stay on Fridays.
Fridays are, because I think they're like under shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Also, I was like, Fox, that deal was good, but I don't know if it will last long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they put $1 billion into it, so
maybe it might be on Fox Sports 1. If it doesn't work well on network. That
possibility. There is that. So we'll have to wait and see.
Or I was gonna say, or put it on Fox News.
Oh jeez. Hey Dad, I want to turn on Fox News. Oh man.
Just to watch people.
Don't give him any ideas, Ed. All right.
Fox News. Just a joke.
Yeah. So Ed, where can they follow you on social media?
Well, I do have a Twitter account. I have 2 Twitters. I have one is the Genocide Cutter Cast. It's what we do in Genocide Cutter Cast. It's a fighting game podcast. We discuss a lot of fighting games. So we do have a Facebook, Genocide Cutter Cast, and also we're on Twitter. But as of now, we are like on long hiatus. Mm-hmm. So but we'll be back. No worries, we'll be back. We're just having some issues. Well, one is just the scheduling, and also I think it's just scheduling and adulting, of course.
Being an adult. Yep.
Yep.
We all have that problem.
So hopefully we'll be back. We'll be back. I also have a Facebook page. It's Count Metal. It used to be a cosplay page, but now I'm trying to like focus more on like conventions and also video gaming as well. But I haven't. So that's another. Actually, so I haven't been working on that in a while. So. That's probably it with social media, and I do have my personal page, so I'm not giving that out.
Yeah, that's understandable. All right, well, thank you, Ed, for coming on and discussing SmackDown, because it's going to turn 1,000 years old this coming week. So
1,000 episodes.
1,000 episodes, yep. And thank you guys for listening to this. Hope you guys enjoyed this trip down memory lane. Talking about SmackDown, the good, the bad, and the meh. So, thanks for listening to this, and we will talk to you guys or at least I will talk to you guys next week.
Au revoir.